Hey guys, it's the Insane Machine Cody Hawkinz, and you're watching WGS-TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFX-TV. I'm WB Billy Boudreaux, and being joined by quite a few people here because this is a very special Raw 1000 review here on WGS-TV. I'm being joined right now first by Mick37. Mick, how you doing?
Really good. How you doing?
We got the Insane Machine, Cody Hawkinz. Cody, how you doing?
Yeah! Doing good, Bill.
Lay off the caffeine. And the Studley man, Ashley, is here on this review. Ashley, how you doing?
I'm kind of disappointed that William Regal wasn't made general manager.
Yes. Well, let's start off with what we were promised. You know, at first it looked like we were going to get gypped because, you know, it was advertised that D-Generation X, the former Shawn Michaels and Triple H, was going to open up Monday Night Raw. And instead, we got Vince McMahon, and you know, we're all thinking that something else was going to happen, but something I never thought I would see, Vince McMahon actually introing D-Generation X. But here's the cool thing. Here's what I thought was really, really awesome. At one point during their promo, Triple H turns to Michaels and saying, "Wasn't there more of us?" Immediately then, that's when things just went, oh, hell yeah. Because we got every member of D-Generation X minus one porn star back on this opening segment of Monday Night Raw. I'm talking about X-Pac. I'm talking about the Road Dogg, Jesse James, and Bad, or as they called him tonight, the Bad Beep, Billy Gunn.
Technically, X-Pac was a porn star as well.
What?
Said minus one porn star. Oh.
What? What do you... Never mind. I don't think I want to know. That's too horrid. That's too horrid of an image. You know, no offense to...
Remember what X-Pac did to China?
I'd rather not. You probably initiated the one door in China, or back door to China, or whatever the hell it's called. But anyway, back to this segment, guys. I'm going to start with you, Ashley. Your thoughts on the return of every member of D-Generation X?
It was nice to see, and the best thing that got me was they did the whole promo thing, and then they were about to do we got two words for you, and both Billy Gunn and Shawn Michaels stepped up, and then they were going, look, let Shawn do it, because, you know, we don't want him to lose his smile again. And I was like, yes. That was, you know, just that, and there was enough of those moments that were like the in-jokes to old stuff tonight that just made it brilliant tonight.
Definitely. Cody, your take on the opening segment with D-Generation X?
Honestly, it pretty much flipped my lid whenever I had a feeling they were going to be bringing the New Age Outlaws, but due to some of the how can I say, insights online saying that they wouldn't be bringing in Sean Waltman or X-Pac, you know, I was like, okay, well, I'm quite content with that. But next thing you know, I see all three of them ride in on that Jeep. I was like, holy hell. Okay, now this is something.
Side note, I want one of those DX shirts they had, whether they be the ones that Triple H and Shawn Michaels wore, or the ones that the rest of the member of D-Generation X wore. I want one of those shirts. Badly. Yes, because those shirts were awesome. I especially love the crack that Triple H made on the rest of DX, saying, you know, and for me, since I'm the only one with a full head of hair.
That was pretty funny, too.
And then we get Damien Sandow to come in here, apparently, since he's the intellectual savior of the masses. And Mick, when we saw that, we just knew right off the bat Damien Sandow was going to get jacked.
Oh, yeah.
Osama got whooped.
Squashed.
This was great. This was by far one of the best openings to any Monday Night Raw I have seen in quite some time. Official score from me, 5 out of 5. Ashley, your score?
5 out of 5 from me, and you know what DX actually said after they did what they did to Sandown?
What?
You're welcome.
Cody, your score?
Solid 5 out of 5, man.
And Mick, your score?
5 out of 5. I have to say.
All right, opening matchup for this very special edition of Monday Night Raw was a 6-man tag match. We had Sheamus, Rey Mysterio, and Sin Cara. Now, that's a dream team right there in itself. Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara taking on Dolph Ziggler, Alberto Del Rio, and Chris Jericho. Now, when they put those three together, I kind of knew right off the bat, since they actually showed the clip from last week on Monday Night Raw, what happened between Ziggler and Chris Jericho, that there was going to be a turn somewhere, whether it be Ziggler on Jericho or Jericho on Ziggler. Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio, maybe not so much, because they really didn't do it that much on SmackDown, but it was either going to be Ziggler on Jericho or Jericho on Ziggler. I believe that was going to be the main focus. And it happened to be Ziggler turning on Jericho, who then ran into the brogue kick from Sheamus, and ends up losing the match. Sin Cara looked really great. Didn't see too much from Rey Mysterio in this match. For a couple of moves, yeah, he was good, but didn't see too much from him. But as far as this 6-man tag match goes, I thought it was really good. I'm gonna Cody, you first. The scenario just ran. Did it kind of appear to you too that it's either going to be Ziggler turning on Jericho or Jericho turning on Ziggler?
Well, to me, honestly, that right there could have gone either way. Didn't matter if Ziggler was going to turn on Jericho or Jericho turn on Ziggler. Either way, heat would have been definitely established. A foot would have been laid down to establish the heat between those two. So regardless of who would have gave the heat to who, it was going to happen regardless. I was kind of glad to see, Jericho giving the heat to Dolph.
Ashley, I want to ask you this. Since Ziggler turned on Jericho in this match, does this kind of cement Jericho as, if they go ahead with this feud, does this cement Jericho as the face, the hard face of this feud?
No. That's hard to tell because the crowd is still very much behind Ziggler. To be quite honest, you've got a face versus face because you've got an old-timer that's pushing the young and up-and-coming talent, and then you've got the young guy that they keep trying to make heel, and it looks like they're going apeshit crazy over Ziggler because they desperately want him to have the title and cheer for him. It seems to be quite a problem that WWE is having heels that people cheer for. Bryan, Punk, Cena, technically.
Official score for this 6-man tag, I'm going to go 4 out of 5. I thought it was a very entertaining and a really good opening match for a Raw 1000. Cody Hawkinz, your official score for this 6-man tag?
Once again, I'm going to have to give another 5 out of 5, though.
Let's go to Mick37. Mick, your score?
I'm going to have to say 4 out of 5 just because I wanted to see a little bit more from Rey and Sin Cara.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. And Ashley, your score?
4 out of 5. Rey needs to get back in shape and off of drugs. Oh, no, wait, he already is. That's why he's back.
Next segment, I really don't know how to describe it, except just to tell you guys what happened. It was AJ and Layla in the back. AJ's getting ready for her wedding, and trust me, I got a lot to say about that when we get to it. But then they open up the door, and then we see Hacksaw Jim Duggan, come out. And then next thing we see Roddy Piper and R-Truth having a game of jump rope with little Jimmy. And then Mae Young and the grown-up hand. My question is, how much should they pay the guy to put on the freaking hand suit? That's what I want to know. It better have been some good money.
Man, WWE Championship, give him 5 years.
You know how much they paid him.
Yeah.
This was... Go ahead, Ash.
Fistful of dollars.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh man. Well, this was hilarity, I want to say, at its best. You know, you got Roddy Piper and R-Truth playing a game of jump rope with Little Jimmy, and then how many today's wrestling fans are sitting there scratching their head thinking, what in the world is this guy in a hand suit for? You know, I'm talking about today's wrestling fan. You know, people who started watching wrestling within the past 3 or 4 years, or 5 years even, they're wondering, you know, what is this guy doing in a hand suit? Well, I'm not going to go into detail about it. If you don't know what it is, just, you know, look it up on YouTube or something like that. That's all I'm going to tell you.
It's going to be the most viewed clip on YouTube this week.
Yeah.
Like I said, or ask Mark Henry, not the MMA, not the boxing trainer.
As far as this whole segment goes, you know, very entertaining. 4.5 out of 5. Always wonder what happened to that hand. Mick 37, your score.
My score would have to be a 5 out of 5, just because Hacksaw Jim Duggan's a gangster, and the hand is going to be the new champion in about 5 years, whether he's the hand or he's the foot.
Hashtag hand for champion. Studley Man Ashley, what's your score in this segment?
The amount of fingers on that hand, none, because they're all thumbs. 5 out of 5.
Let's go to Cody Hawkinz. Cody, you're great on the segment. Your score?
Yeah, I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. It was funny, but it would have been funny if you had a couple more guys from the Raw roster in that commercial. I mean, that little segment, like, at least another 5 seconds worth of a couple more former Raw superstars. You know, throw Tatanka in there. You know, throw Jimmy Snuka in there out of there all of a sudden. Hell, throw some Tony Atlas in this thing. You know, so that'd be good.
Hell, throw some Tony Schiavone in there.
No, not Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone.
Tonight was the greatest night in all of sports entertainment. Literally.
Well, not so much for Jack Swagger, as the next matchup, it was Brodus Clay and Jack Swagger. But I think the main point we need to realize is that Brodus had a guest. Dude Love. Yes, the dude was back for Monday Night Raw. And for those of you who are still scratching your head while watching this video, wondering, who the hell is Dude Love? It's Mick Foley, for those of you who are living under a rock.
Mankind.
Cactus Jack.
Cactus
Jack. Sorry, I even got that wrong. Cactus Jack.
But here's the thing. After the 2-minute squash match was over, they had Brodus and Dude Love dancing, and of course, Dude Love had his own version of Mr. Sacco with the tie-dye on it, and Jack Swagger had a taste of it. I'm going to go ahead and give this whole thing a score. I'm going to go, you know, entertainment-wise, I'm going to go, you know what, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 on this one. Ashley, your thoughts on your score?
3 out of 5. You could have had more than 10 seconds for that match, to be quite honest.
Yeah, there was basically only 2 moves in that entire match. Cody Hawkinz, your thoughts on your score?
I'm going to have to agree with the Studley Man here. 3 out of 5. You need a little more action. A little more.
And Mick 37, your thoughts on your score on Brodus Clay and Jack Swagger?
I have to go with 3 out of 5 too, because I could do a suplex and a body splash.
No wonder Brodus isn't having any good matches, because they're not giving him any.
You know, he does bring up an interesting point.
Push, Brodus,
push the fat man.
Interesting points. Otherwise, me being a reviewer, it's kind of a dumbass job.
Next up, we cut to a backstage segment with Triple H and Trish Stratus. Needless to say, long story short, Triple H is bent over in front of Trish Stratus with the rest of D-Generation X popping their heads in.
Needless to say, it looked like a Backdoor to China video.
And there goes my lunch, and my dinner, and my breakfast for tomorrow. Thank you, Ashley.
Just be thankful. Just be thankful it isn't in smell of pollution.
Oh Lord. Should we even grade this segment?
What?
With Triple H and Trish Stratus and DX.
Just
Yeah,
because
Mom,
it's
I give
hilarious as hell, that's an automatic 5 for me.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 because Triple H is bending over and getting penetrated by
See, the mark I'm going to give is the only mark that matters. I got Stratisfaction.
Oh man. Yeah. Next up is the wedding, the big wedding between Daniel Bryan and AJ. Now, Ashley, I gotta ask you because for those of you who don't know, we like to conversate during Monday Night Raw.
Conversate.
Yeah, conversate, talk.
Yeah, I've never heard it called conversate before.
All right, my question is to you. The Reverend was the Reverend Slick, but why did the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase's name come up to you? I mean, why did
Because
he?
he actually is a minister.
Okay. Yeah,
I would have said the Iron Reverend Jake Slater just out of shit.
I demanded Jake Slater too. I wanted to go with Jake, but yeah.
It would have been great to see it, but Slick was still pretty good. Slick was still pretty good as the minister, and a couple of times, the crowd was going what during his little, sermon speech of sorts, and it looked like he was getting carried.
That's where Billy was dancing to Slick's music.
Yeah, I wonder how many people know what a Jive Soul Bro really is. But anyway, as I ask a pointless question, this wedding gets interrupted by, we think Daniel Bryan, says yes to AJ, and we hear AJ saying yes, we're thinking that, this is only a matter of time. Keep in mind, guys, we've already seen a backstage segment with Daniel Bryan talking to 3 orderlies that you would see in a mental hospital. Because for the way it was looking, Daniel Bryan was going to marry AJ and then have her committed. But apparently AJ stopped Slick and said that AJ wasn't saying yes to Daniel Bryan, but to another man and another proposal, and out comes Vince McMahon. And my first thought was, Vince McMahon, you lucky SOB. But then we get the...
I don't know. I think 10 years ago you could have had Trish.
Yeah, but apparently this was a business proposal, and Vince McMahon introduces the brand new general manager of Monday Night Raw, AJ. Now this was a shocker to me. I was expecting somebody else, but I want to get you guys' reactions to AJ being named the new Raw general manager. Ashley, let's start with you. What was your reaction?
Surprised me, and at first I was thinking, this doesn't make sense, but on reflection, this could go like this.
Let's go to the Insane Machine, Cody Hawkinz. Cody, what was your reaction to AJ being named the new general manager of Monday Night Raw?
What else can I say but what they call me? Insane!
And let's go to Mick37. Mick, what was your reaction to AJ being named the new general manager of Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, she's great.
Okay.
Hey, if you want to be relevant, my actual thoughts on AJ being general manager was winning.
Winning, duh.
On a side note, if you guys want to know what we're talking,
we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that as soon as we get that discussed. But think about this: if AJ is going to be the general manager of Monday Night Raw, who is going to be named as the SmackDown general manager? That's what I want to know. So maybe we'll find out Friday night. You never know. But as far as this whole wedding thing and the shocker of AJ being named the new general manager of Raw, I'm going to go 5 out of 5 on this one. Let's start with Cody Hawkinz. Cody, your thoughts and your score.
I second that motion. 5 out of 5.
Let's go to Mick37. Mick?
5 out of 5, and I want to punch a baby.
Then watch the campaign. The Stunning Man Ashley. Ashley, your thoughts and your score?
5 out of 5 for part 1.
Let's get to part 2.
Next up.
We come back from commercial break.
Daniel Bryan part 2.
Yes.
Oh, look, I made a joke about Charlie Sheen. We'll get to that.
Daniel Bryan, we come back from commercial break, and he's still having a temper tantrum, screaming no at all the referees, and out comes CM Punk, and they start having their little going back and forth, and Daniel Bryan is screaming he is the best wrestler of all time, and that was the cue for The Rock. The Rock comes out and then makes the announcement that at the Royal Rumble, which takes place at where again, Ash?
Phoenix, Arizona.
The Rock will challenge whoever the WWE champion may be at the Royal Rumble. Now, I'm going to save my personal thoughts on that kind of a move for a later video, because we're talking about Raw 1000. That's the major subject of this commentary. But I promise you guys, like I've already promised before, I know I'm videos and videos behind, but I will have my own video discussing my thoughts personally about The Rock getting a WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble. But to finish the segment, we got to have The Rock deliver the rock bottom to somebody. And of course, Daniel Bryan had to be the lucky guy in the white suit. Part 2, to me, for the shock, well, I don't want to call it such a shocker announcement, but, the Rock, even though I really don't like him too much, he still has a good mass appeal, a good draw to the crowd. CM Punk, great on the microphone always. Daniel Bryan just got the no fits going and got his butt handed to him in a white suit. I'm going to go 4.5 out of 5 on this one, guys. Ashley, I want to start with you. Your thoughts on part 2.
Quite simply, 5 out of 5, just because of the line, you look like a
Oompa Loompa.
Homeless man that had just had sex with an Oompa Loompa. Yes, that did happen. Yeah, that's it. Homeless lumberjack and an Oompa Loompa. Just be thankful it didn't look like a hand.
Oh my God. Cody Hawkinz, your score in part 2?
Score on part 2, I had to give it another 5. I'm putting 5 across the board, baby.
Mick37, your thoughts and your score?
5, and I told you, the guy in the white suit always gets fucked up.
Oh, God.
Especially if it's brother love.
Exactly.
As I remind everybody, we're rated PG. We're going to go to the Intercontinental Championship match, which everybody voted for. Remember, last week on Monday Night Raw, they gave everybody the opportunity to vote for which championship they wanted to see defended on Raw 1000. They had the choice between the United States Championship and, honestly, really, the only thing we saw from Santino Marella, who is supposed to be your United States Champion, instead of wrestling, him walking around handing out toys. Kind of tells me what that kind of tells me where what the WWE stand is on the United States Championship. They really could care less about the United States Championship.
I'm still confused. Brother love isn't PG.
I'm not going to get into it on this video, but anyway, we got Christian. By the way, Bret Hart. I got to give it to Bret Hart for his intro, for his ring announcing in this one. Yeah, first off, your Intercontinental Champion, Christian. His opponent, The Miz. But it was really, I thought this was a really good match. I thought it was for The Miz to defeat Christian and become the new Intercontinental Champion. But a lot of people are saying, well, this is just a secondary title. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Intercontinental title is just no ordinary secondary title for the WWE. This is one of the most prestigious secondary Intercontinental titles in any wrestling organization. Because a lot of great names have held this championship. They have been the Intercontinental Champion. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Chris Jericho, Christian, of course. And then we had Stone Cold Steve Austin. We had Pat Patterson, Ric Flair, Triple H, And now The Miz gets to add his name into that illustrious list. So people should not frown on the Intercontinental Championship. This is a really good move. It's finally we get to see The Miz actually do something rather than just lose in the WWE. The Miz finally gets on track and he's now finally being utilized. And now he is the Intercontinental Champion on Friday Night SmackDown. 4 out of 5 on this match from me. I want to start with the Insane Machine, Cody Hawkinz. Cody, your thoughts on The Miz becoming the new Intercontinental Champion by defeating Christian tonight?
Well, overall, The Miz has been doing some pretty decently good work since his return from doing the Marine 3, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
I mean, I won't knock on him because he looks like Alec Baldwin's brother with the scruffiness and the slick back hair. But overall, there was a few botches that I seen. But overall, it was a very good match. I'll give this match about a 4 out of 5 because I could have expected a little bit more spot-wise. You know, like just match-wise because Miz wasn't all cocky. He just straight up wrestled. You know, he's not the same Miz that was here before he went off to this movie shoot. He's a very soft-spoken. I mean, you hear how he doesn't say awesome all real loud and stuff. He'll say, and I'm, yeah, all loud and stuff, but he'll just say awesome. Okay? Honestly, the gimmick was good before he left, and he kind of watered it down a little bit. So, like I said, I'm going to give this a 4, I say about a 4 to 4.5 out of 5.
I still think, now, I keep thinking about it and seeing it again in my head. Something just looked really off about the spot with the tornado DDT. It was just something about it just, you know, it didn't look like it was a completely fluid motion to me. That's the way it looked to me. It looked like something was off. I don't know if it was on Christian or if it was on Miz, but just something was off about that spot with the tornado DDT. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but that's the way I saw it. Mick37, your thoughts and your score on The Miz defeating Christian for the Intercontinental title?
Score, I'd have to go with 4 out of 5 like Cody. Because it could have been better, but it was still really good. I like seeing a title change every now and then. Because that title's not normally recognized anymore, but it's still...
Yeah, it's also not... There's not too many title changes on either Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. Most of your title changes happen on pay-per-views. So it was good to see a title change on Raw.
He does bring up an interesting point. And the man who's been saying that we need a good heel champion in the WWE at this point, the Studley Man Ashley. Ashley, your thoughts and your score?
5 out of 5. You've got a great face champion. So if you listen to the crowd, they popped massive. It's the issue. They've got so many talent that they're pushing as heel. The smart marks in the crowd are basically acknowledging that and acknowledging that all the hard work that they've put into being a heel is now getting rewarded with title guns. Hence Ziggler, hence Punk, hence Bryan, hence Miz again.
Next up was, I guess, playtime was over for Triple H because at this point in the show, this was all business. This was about Triple H and Brock Lesnar. Triple H wanting his answer, and instead of getting Brock Lesnar at first, we get the little troll, Paul Heyman. Yes, you heard me right. No, not Buck Laser. I'm talking about Paul Heyman. I don't even know why I said it like that. But
hang on. I thought you said this was PG.
I said Heyman.
No, I'm the one who called him a button-o.
A button. Well, yeah, that's kind of PG in a sense, you know.
But Paul Heyman.
Paul. But well, hey, if you can get Buck Laser, I can get Paul Heyman. But
right.
Anyway, this was like typical we've seen from the last few times with Heyman and Triple H. Heyman comes in, you know, plays around with Triple H on the microphone, and then says, you know, the answer is no. And then, of course, he starts getting on the touchy subject, starts talking about Triple H's kids, and you know what, storyline or not, I still think it's a bad idea to put someone's kids into a storyline, whether we see them or if they're mentioned. I still, it's just one of those little pet peeves that I have. I don't think that, we're supposed to talk about the guys in the ring. The guys who are actively involved in the storyline, not the person's kids. Not the person's kids.
I still remember that CM Punk Happy Birthday singing to Rey Mysterio's kid.
That was edgy. That was really edgy. To me. But still, it brought out Stephanie McMahon. And, whoo, daddy. Cody.
The word of the day is boobs.
Man, Stephanie. Cody, it's safe to say this. Triple H is a lucky man.
Indeed he is.
Indeed, old Kai's here now.
Indeed, because we are evil. I don't know why I just.
All right, but
Mickey, we're gonna say something.
I was gonna say go on, but then something else popped into my head. It had to do with China, so.
Oh God. Anyway,
he's talking about the country, not the person.
I hope so. But anyway, Stephanie McMahon starts laying into Paul Heyman about his failures in WCW. I think one of them that really caught his attention, I don't know if you guys caught this or not, is when she mentioned ECW as well. And to me, that's got to hurt as much as Vince McMahon with the XFL. Oh, yes, I went there.
No. It probably hurt because WWE don't have it trademarked anymore and somebody else is using that name now.
Really?
Yeah. ECW were so desperate apparently to get Ryback trademarked, which they failed because it's kind of already trademarked for a generic purpose, that they let the ECW name slip.
Ooh.
So that means whoever got the trademark can now legitimately use the ECW name.
Well, I'm not pointing any fingers, but one might think that the ECW trademark name might have just gotten franchised. But anyway...
No, it was by somebody completely different. Really? Let's just say Paul Heyman was less than pleased with the person that bought the trademark.
Well, anyway, then Stephanie McMahon ends up slapping Paul Heyman, and next thing you know, Heyman starts to lose his cool, lose his temper, and then finally says yes. And what was it that Heyman said? I couldn't catch it because somebody on Skype, I'm not going to say who it was, but was talking a little too loudly. What was it that Heyman said to Stephanie McMahon that set her off into a cat fight on Heyman?
Talking about, because she talks about family and everything, and basically, I think it was insulting Vince, and yeah, you grew up with Vince, and your kids are going to grow up,
Okay.
Not something, basically a negative thing on the kids, and then Stephanie's like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And mini cat fight because all I saw was a woman with long hair and a fat woman with a ponytail. So, I don't know, it might have technically counted as a cat fight. I don't know.
And then that brings out Brock Lesnar, and then we finally had a fight between Triple H and Brock Lesnar, and it kept going back and forth and back and forth. Mick, I think it's safe to say it was a good thing we didn't see another one of Lesnar's Kimura locks, right?
Yes. Lesnar would never let another man pass his guard in his entire life. Especially in a real fight.
A couple of things I want to note about this segment. One, Stephanie McMahon, gorgeous. I mean, she was hot. And two, Triple H and Brock Lesnar look in really, really good shape, especially Lesnar. I mean, Lesnar's no longer fat and flabby like he was in that Extreme Rules with John Cena. I mean, that dude has really been getting in shape.
Dare I say it, Stephanie got her rack boosted, and Lesnar got his rack juiced.
Wow. Wow. And that's the Studley Man, Ashley Care of the UK. As far as this segment goes, I got to give it another 5. Raw 1000 so far has been absolutely great. 5 out of 5 on this one. Let's start with Mick 37. Mick, your score on this?
I give it a 5 out of 5 just because I love seeing Brock get his ass kicked, just like Heath Slater. And
We'll get to that one next. Ashley, your thoughts and your score in the segment?
5 out of 5, mainly because Lesnar wasn't, Heyman wasn't going, what are you doing?
And Cody Hawkinz, your thoughts and your score in this segment?
And I have to give this one a 5 out of 5 as well. It had all the fundamentals and then some of a very well executed promo.
Yes. And next up, we had well, of course, this was the time that Hornswoggle and Santino Marella were out passing up the new wrestling buddies, and apparently these one can talk, and they showed on TV Michael Cole just getting a little too friendly with the John Cena one, if you kind of catch my drift here. There's something I didn't need to see.
Honest, I prefer Ted.
Secret coding there, guys. I hope someone catches that. But anyway, next up we had the Fink, Howard Finkel, as a special ring announcer on this match. Out comes the one-man band, Heath Slater. And
even though his Twitter's the one-man rock band, according to the acronym that he's given on his Twitter. Might want to change that.
Yeah, pretty soon. Slater said he gets on the microphone and says he's had enough. All the bad stuff he's happened to him because of all the Raw legends. And he challenged any one of the so-called Raw legends to a no disqualification, no count-out match. And thoughts started running in my head on who's it going to be. Actually, I think you said at one point you thought that it might be The Undertaker kicking Heath Slater's can on this match.
Yeah. One that was really going round was Ultimate Warrior, which, but then it was even more of a swerve.
It was Lita. And might I say, Cody, just as Stephanie McMahon looked hot, Lita
Intercourse with you. Relations.
Okay, marking up the Family Guy here.
Okay. Oh, man. Well, keep in mind, this is no DQ, no count. As soon as the bell rang, Lita got on the microphone and said, "Hold on, Slater. I bought me some protection." Keyword, protection. Acolyte Protection Agency.
And out came Mr. Durex.
Ecstasy.
What?
Out came Mr. Durex. And the pill of Viagra.
The APA, Ron Simmons and JBL. JBL looked really great. And, I know he's lost a lot of weight. He's been getting himself back in shape, because I know one of the reasons he retired was because a lot of, concern about his back. Kind of like with Shawn Michaels. JBL's out a lot of back issues, and he looked in great shape. So did Ron Simmons. But Heath Slater was going to take a powder and say, no, forget this, that he was cut off by every Raw legend that kicked his keister up until Raw 1000. I'm talking about Vader. I'm talking about Sid. Dunk the Clown, Steve Lombardi, not too much since he lost. Diamond Dallas Page, Road Warrior Animal, Piper, Rikishi. Thank God Cyndi Lauper wasn't there with another golden record to screw up a hit on.
Well, all I'm going to say is about my previous comment about Viagra, there couldn't have been one because nobody acted stiff.
Oh, wow. As far as this match goes, again, is Heath Slater getting his keister kicked again by every Raw legend? I guess now Lita kind of fits the mold for Raw legend now. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 because of Lita's hotness. I'll start with Mick. Mick, your thoughts and your score.
5 out of 5, just because I'm glad to see Lita back, and everybody else for that matter. Especially Lita, though.
Yeah, especially Lita. She was as bountiful as ever. The Studley Man Ashley, your thoughts and your score.
Probably 11 out of 5. One for every single legend that was there.
Good one.
Including Fink.
Good one, man. Good one there. Let's go to Cody Hawkinz. Cody, your thoughts and your score on Lita defeating Heath Slater?
It was a good thing to see a lot of the Raw legends there. No doubt about seeing Lita. It's been a while. Last time I seen her, she broke her neck, in a live Raw show. Well, if I'm not mistaken, it was against Trish Stratus.
I believe so, with the women's title on the line.
She took a big suicide dive and broke her neck on the outside rail. The guard cover, and it just... I didn't even expect... I normally would see her for, WrestleMania access. People would see her, they'd get autographs and all that stuff for access, but it was a good thing to actually see her in action, cleanly execute the moonsault that she's been known for, and executing a pretty decent twist of fate. And ultimately seeing, like I said, seeing all the former Raw superstars or the legends of Monday Night Raw, you know, and I'll give it a solid 5 out of 5.
Next, a couple of things. Another thing we need to note here. Daniel Bryan's interviewed by Sean Mooney. Another, yes, the guy from the event center finally shows his face. Sean Mooney, and he's
Sean Mooney of the movement.
Okay. You have to explain that one to me later. But anyway, Sean Mooney
It was a TV series called The Movement. That's all I remember about it. I don't remember what it was, but it's probably some messed up stuff.
But Daniel Bryan is starting to make some cracks on Charlie Sheen in response to what Sheen said about the wedding being a failure.
Because we haven't referenced Charlie Sheen yet. All night, he was on Skype.
Mm-hmm.
Because he ditched Twitter. And I guess he realised, I don't want to be in another lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, this was going to be a lawsuit he wouldn't win. But apparently now, could we be looking at... Now, this is what it was said. It was said by Daniel Bryan that he would slap the yes lock on Charlie Sheen. I can't say it quote for quote, but then Charlie Sheen responds by saying that, well, basically the next time they're in Los Angeles, he's not a hard man to find, and the next time they're in LA, it's for SummerSlam. So could we, actually, I want to start with you. Are we looking at a Charlie Sheen, Daniel Bryan match for SummerSlam?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Charlie Sheen screw job, I call it. If it's not a Charlie Sheen versus Daniel Bryan, Charlie Sheen's going to be the one to screw.
Cody,
and in Daniel Bryan's corner, please, William.
Cody, your thoughts on this thing with Charlie Sheen and Daniel Bryan?
Oh, I gotta give it to Charlie Sheen. I mean, he will always be winning, no matter where he goes, 24/7. You know, and I just like the fact that he actually was able to show up on Monday Night Raw, do his thing, you know, rocking his little anger management cap. You know, thought that was pretty cool. It would have been better seeing him with the Hatchet Man cap, like I seen him at the baseball game. But overall, I liked it. I liked the fact that he was able to pop himself up on Skype. He pretty much gave Twitter the finger, you know. He gave Twitter the finger. And no one messes with the finger.
And if anybody's wondering, the quality of Billy's internet speed throughout this recording has been weak.
Yeah, because I tried to tout during Monday Night Raw.
Oh, God.
And
I tried to leave it with a joke and then he took it seriously. Move on.
Sorry. But anyway, the next
Losing.
Losing. Next up was Kane, and then we're expecting probably a match with Kane, and then we get Jinder Mahal's music, and he's not alone. He's got Tyler Rex, Kurt Hawkins, Hanico, Camacho, just like with JTG Camacho, why do you even have a job in the WWE? And Drew McIntyre. Apparently they got tired of being, overlooked, and they were going to take out their frustration on Kane. And then who comes out but The Undertaker? I want to start with you, Ashley. Ashley, what were your reactions to, one, apparently the new ring, coat, jacket, a source of The Undertaker, and two, how did you think The Undertaker looked out there, shape-wise, how did he look to you? Ashley, I want to start with you.
One, the coat made him look like a dinosaur with spines and everything, which was awesome.
He looked like Master Shredder.
I made it funny. And look-wise, he actually didn't look too bad. I think one-off appearances he can do, but he needs to have a good run with something. If he turned up at the Royal Rumble and competed in the Royal Rumble but lost, and then had a feud with whoever, going from Rumble to Mania over those 2 months. I think that
The Brothers of Destruction annihilated these guys, and it left with Curt Hawkins and Hanico to suffer stereo choke slams and stereo tombstone pile drivers. Cody,
and stereo throat cuts.
That too. But I don't know why Kane always points his forefinger out. But anyway, Cody, your reactions to the Brothers of Destruction doing what they do best, destroying.
Hey, that's all they do. They go forth and kick it the button.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah. Steal a line from Stone Cold. Arrive, raise hell, leave.
Mick, how did The Undertaker look to you? Did he look like he was in really good shape? Do you think he still has maybe yet another WrestleMania or 2 left in him?
He looked like a giant Chuck Liddell, is what he looked like.
Probably got somebody commenting on him saying, "Are you serious?" But anyway,
Well, I wonder if Undertaker said to Kane, "You want to do this?"
apparently, I wonder how many people know that reference. But anyway, score 5 out of 5. What?
See.
What? I'm giving it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, 5.
What, is something wrong?
Well, I gave you the clue.
Yeah, I know. Undertaker. Yeah, I know. Undertaker, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, you want to do this?
Do you think that possibly if Kane's final match in the WWE could be against The Undertaker?
God. Then it'll be at WrestleMania in a Hell in a Cell on top of a casket on top of Inferno match.
Yeah.
No. Kane will bow out gracefully. The best thing, actually, possibly, if Undertaker was going to retire this year, would have been possibly Undertaker and Kane face off again in their final match, and then disappear in the darkness together, and then the lights go up and they're just gone.
That would be epic. That would be epic. I gotta agree with you. But what's the reference that you're talking about, Ash?
About
Undertaker asking Kane, "You want to do this?"
Yeah, it was the line Undertaker did to Lesnar after when he lost the title in about 30 seconds in UFC about 18 months ago.
Yeah, I knew that reference.
Yeah, but you were saying if you don't know that reference.
Anyway,
If you don't know that reference, Undertaker will go round to your house and say, "You want to do this?" If that's the case, run.
Next up is the big main event of the evening for the WWE Championship. CM Punk taking on John Cena. And I know all week long there have been a lot of people going back and forth speculating, is Cena going to walk away with the WWE Championship, or are they going to have Punk drop it to him, or will Cena be the first person to cash in Money in the Bank and not win the championship? I want to start. What did you guys think of the match? Content-wise, how was the match to you guys? I want to start with Cody. Cody, content-wise, how was the match to you?
Content-wise with the match, I'd probably give it, I'd like to give it good recognition because you got to think about it. CM Punk and John Cena, they were at each other's throats for the longest time, and then now, with Cena winning Money in the Bank and he cashed in the contract, I already knew that there was going to be some form of an interruption via the Big Show, of course. Now,
Yes.
I knew that from get-go. Okay, ever since last week, I've been knowing that from Jump. Jump Street has already been given to me. Okay, but overall, it was a very good match. A lot of technicality, a lot of interesting reversals.
Really?
I mean, he reversed the Punk reversed the five knuckle shuffle in a unique way. He kicked him in the face.
Yeah.
You know, not too many people, like, according to the matches that I've seen from John Cena, there's not too many that have reversed whenever he bent down to do the whole, you know, or in the words, not to make fun of Rod, but you can't see me. You know, but, you know, it was just a very well planned out, you know, not entirely planned out, because honestly, I didn't hear those guys say a word to each other. They were just sticking it move for move, going old school, like the way they were trained, you know, and it was great all around, great, just a lot of technicality, few reversals, a lot of heat, lots and lots and lots of heat. I loved it. Good match.
Ashley, would it be safe to say that Big Show's interference was kind of predictable?
Considering that he never turned up, kind of thing, you expected something to happen, certainly. It's, you know, for the 3 hours before, he didn't make any kind of appearance, so considering he was majorly in the storyline, you knew he was going to get involved somehow. But then what arose from that was really interesting.
Exactly, because as Big Show was beating down John Cena, CM Punk does nothing to make the save, and at this point, CM Punk's already been disqualified because Big Show also came back in, and while John Cena had the STF on CM Punk and broke it up so to keep John Cena from becoming the champion.
Yes, Cena wins the DQ,
but also becomes the first
title. So you've had your first failed cash-in.
Exactly.
Though most keynote, it wasn't a straight match.
No,
it was failed cash-in due to interference. It makes me think clean rematch with no interference at SummerSlam.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that makes it interesting. As Big Show was attacking Cena, there are two things that make it interesting. One, CM Punk does absolutely nothing to stop the Big Show's attack on John Cena. And two, the person to come out and make the save was The Rock. The Rock spine busters the Big Show, and as he's getting ready to administer the People's Elbow, CM Punk comes back in and levels The Rock with a clothesline, and then gives him to go to sleep. Mick, I gotta ask you, what were your reactions seeing, one, The Rock come out, make the save for John Cena, and two, CM Punk attacking and giving The Rock to go to sleep?
The Rock's hyperventilation was priceless, but the rest of it is kind of mind-boggling because I'm kind of thinking CM Punk might be going to his old ways and being a heel. He's good at both face and heel, so I really could care less which one he is.
Ashley, do you agree with that?
Yeah. You know, Punk can be heel, Punk can be face. It's like Cena. Cena's heel to some people and face to other people, but they'll still boo or cheer for him. And I'm going to cheer for Punk because I think he is this generation's Rock. In the essence that he's good on the mic, and he can back it up with wrestling skill. And the fact that he's on the front cover of USA Today.
Cody, would it be safe to say after tonight that we could consider CM Punk to be a hard face now?
Well, it seems a little confusing to most fans, most of the WWE universe and wrestling fans around the world, that, yeah, they were booing CM Punk out of the building, after he leveled Rock with that clothesline, cutting him off from the Rock at the People's Elbow, and then giving him to go to sleep to lay him out to finish off the job. Now, as to determining if he's still a face, or is he a heel, or is he even a hard face, that's for the people to decide.
Exactly.
Because honestly, the way his disposition was after that altercation, whenever he stepped out of the ring with this WWE Championship, he was just like that, okay, what the hell am I going to do now. Then he just walked down the ramp of the street face. So it kind of discovers that it seems like they're going to put him as either a hard face or borderline heel.
Official score for all this, I'm going to go 5 out of 5. I firmly believe that the predictable run-in by the Big Show was leveled off by the shocking appearance of The Rock to come in and make the save for John Cena. And, of course, the actions of CM Punk towards The Rock as well played a factor into it. So that's why I'm going 5 out of 5 on the main event. I'm going to start with Ashley. Ashley, your thoughts and your score.
4.5 out of 5, because the actual match up until the interference was only about 6 minutes long. You could have had double that. Who cares if you've got to be 15 minutes in to preempt it? What was on after it? Something about Bourne, and I don't even know what, probably a repeat of Psych that nobody watches.
Covert Affairs.
Or Covert Affairs,
Yeah.
I don't know how many people will probably watch that tonight.
Cody, the Insane Machine, Cody Hawkinz, your thoughts and your score.
Well, okay. I'd have to give it a solid 5 because you got to think about all of the factors that cause the people to have like that OMG, WTF meter scale. It was like the intensity was so thick you can cut it with a knife, and the gauge was reading between OMG and WTF. Okay.
Yeah.
It was tipping the needle back and forth. I was like, okay, so yeah, I'm giving it 5 out of 5.
And let's go to Mick 37. Mick, your score and your thoughts on John Cena and CM Punk.
I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5 just because I would much rather see Cena lose fairly because I rarely get to see it and I love seeing it.
Overall score on Raw 1000, I gotta go 5 out of 5 solidly. Great opening with D-Generation X. It was great to see X-Pac, Road Dogg, and Billy Gunn out there with Shawn and Triple H. I thought that was a hilarious opening. Dude loved coming back and dancing with Brodus. Kind of entertaining. AJ being named the new general manager of Raw, I didn't see coming, to be honest with you. Miz becoming Intercontinental Champion, it's a good thing. I see nothing but good things happening from that. Finally got Brock Lesnar to say yes. Paul Heyman said yes, and we're finally going to have the match with Triple H and Lesnar at SummerSlam that I've been saying since, I believe, the attack back in April. And Lita, great to see her back. I mean, boom. Stephanie McMahon, too. Undertaker's return looked in really good shape. He can still do one-off appearances. And John Cena and CM Punk, it could be a main event on a pay-per-view. I rather would have seen John Cena and CM Punk on a pay-per-view, to be honest with you. But Raw 1000 is kind of the WrestleMania of Monday Night Raws because it is a historic milestone in television history. So that's why I'm going to go 5 out of 5. I'm going to start with the Studley man, Ashley. Ashley, your overall score and your overall thoughts on Raw 1000.
I'd have to give it a 6 out of 5.
6 out of 5.
Yeah, because compared to previous weeks, so much better. But something that is worth mentioning is what's trending on Twitter right now. As of this recording, we've got #RockPunk, #Raw1000, Dude Love, APA, Royal Rumble, and one that I didn't think would trend, but is, and one that you won't hear mentioned on WWE this week. No Stone Cold.
True that.
The Insane Machine, Cody Hawkinz, your overall score and thoughts on Raw 1000.
It's a star-studded event. All of Raw's greatest, biggest, baddest, and best. Though I will agree with Ashley, minus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Very well played out show. Very well done. From start to finish. Good matches throughout. I'm going to give it a solid 5 out of 5. Perfect score.
We had Regis Philbin and Fozzie Bear tonight, but no Austin.
Yeah. And finally, let's go to Mick 37. Mick, your overall score and your overall thoughts on Raw 1000.
Thoughts? Best show of the year, possibly the last 2 years. And I'd have to give it a hard score of 10 out of 5, but a realistic score of 5 out of 5.
So what we want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Raw 1000. Do you agree with our score, giving it a perfect score and even beyond a perfect score? Or do you have a different rating for Raw 1000? And if you do, I need to learn how to talk. Please tell us why by putting your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer, youtube.com/ZepXTV Network, and youtube.com/ZepXFame. So for Mick 37, the Insane Machine Cody Hawkinz, and the Studley Man Ashley, I'm Double B Billy Boudreaux saying thank you very much for watching.
Hashtag Rock got hooked.